Welcome to the Lasser New York Real Estate Podcast. Today, my guest is Arthur Gershfeld from the Gershfeld Group. Welcome, Arthur.
Thank you for having me.
And today, we're going to be talking about property management transitions. Why don't you just briefly tell us about the Gershfeld Group, if you would?
So the Gershfeld Group is a property management company, and we oversee the management of condos, co-ops, rent-stabilized buildings, and we're a full-service group that caters to the needs of the residents of those particular residences.
Cool. And so I know you've started this company. What was what's your professional training?
So I'm an attorney by trade, and I've been a lawyer for about 23 years now. Although we look very young, we're still a little bit old, but yeah, we're still young. And yeah, I'm an attorney by trade. I think a lot of the issues that property managers have with their clients is the fact that they don't communicate enough.
Right.
I think that, a lot of this business has to be in a way where you're a service company. So service has to be impeccable. Service has to be immediate. And people have to understand that if they hired you to manage their building and they've invested a lot of money into these particular condos and these particular co-ops and so on. So they want to make sure that their investments are protected. We make sure that our clients are at least happy with the response time they get from us.
So let's say a board or an owner wants to switch, management companies. Like, walk us through the process. Like, what's involved there?
So typically, even when the board of directors of a particular building may not be happy with their property managers, they're so used to having that property manager already in place because they may have purchased a unit and this property manager may have been servicing the building already 10 years prior. So they're kind of used to what they already have and they're afraid of change.
Right.
And what I want to encourage people who are on these boards and who are disgruntled, that they should not be afraid of change because change happens fairly quickly. It happens seamlessly. And you should be happy. You should not have to go to work worrying about whether your property manager is really taking care of your issues.
Right.
So in that sense, they should not be afraid of change. And that's what people are afraid of.
Right. So I get the people, the potential fear there. And you're saying it's not that complicated a process. So what actually is the process? Let's say logistically, the board has made a decision and they've sent, let's say, a termination notice, they've signed a new contract with your company, then how do you sort of facilitate the handoff of the transition between the outgoing management company and your company?
So the first thing that we would do is we would communicate with the then management company that they had just relieved of their responsibilities. We would ask them for all their files. We would obviously send them notice that we are the new property management company. We would try to acquire all their bylaws, all of their outstanding balances, all their vendors that they've been servicing throughout the years for that particular building. And then we would provide notice to all the residents going forward saying that we are the new property management company. All of your common charges are now going to be handled by us. We open up a bank account. And what we do a lot of actually all the time, and what other companies may or may not do, is that we provide full transparency. So we have a system in place where the board of directors can actually see by themselves their own accounts.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We would start managing their building. We would get in touch with the vendors that they're happy with and keep them on board. If they have supers in the building, we would obviously keep the super on board if the board of directors is happy with that
Right.
super. If they're not happy with that super, we would make adjustments. We would find other people to service that building. So it's not a complicated situation.
Right.
It does take some time.
Right. So what's the timeline? Like, let's say from like when you have a contract signed, how is it? We're talking about like 2 months, 1 month, 3 months. Like, what's the typical transition process timing?
So typically I've seen transitions happen seamlessly a lot of the times where we would give notice to the property management company. They would finish out their building for that particular month. And from the first of the next month, we would take over. That's in a situation where the old property management company is okay with the transition, where they're not fighting the residents of the building and saying, well, we need more notice.
Right.
But it's not the property manager's decision to make that, right?
Right.
It's the residents of the building, the board
Sure.
of directors. So if they made that decision,
Right.
even if we face obstacles in getting that transition done, it may take a month and a half to 2 months, but it should not take longer than that.
How do you obtain their cooperation if they're resistant at first? Like, what do you do?
So by law, they're supposed to cooperate with us. They're supposed to provide us all of the buildings documentation because it's really not theirs to withhold. It's
Sure.
the buildings. Obviously, property managers may not want to relinquish those particular documents at times because they don't want to lose the business. But they already know that they've already lost the business.
Right.
So if we don't get their cooperation in a timely manner, the way we see it to be a timely manner, then there's an option of getting an attorney engaged for the building. And the attorney would reach out to the property management company and say, look, you're putting this building in a hardship. You have to provide all this documentation. Otherwise, you're going to be held responsible for it.
So listen, thanks so much for your time today. Hopefully our audience found this to be informative and entertaining. So where can our listeners find out more about you? What's your contact information? The best way to reach you?
So I have a website. It's the Gershfeldgroup.com. Or you can email me at agersh, Gersh, at Gershfeldgroup.com. Or you can always call us at 201-357-3113.
Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this content, please click like and subscribe. And remember to make every day great.